Good evening, Black Rose Wars painters. So we got the completion of Bronte tonight, as well as some of his axes, his evocation, his axes, and the first player token as well. So that's the plan for tonight, to finish those off. And they're really nice. They're very similar to Chazal's sword, and I'll be doing it exactly the same way and technique with that. So we'll catch that up, and I might as well do all three together while we've got it on. Now, these are the two that I completed. I've just painted with the black, and I've just got a hair off again. So this is the Nuri Honor from last time. I managed to just about get the base done. Using, I really like the black rose, putting the red on and then the black Templar over the top. I think that works really well. So she's done. And our Oni as well. Just a few little specks of... So with those two complete, we can now move on. I also resprayed the miniatures that I was having the problem with the repelling of paint. And I tried it on the currently primed miniatures and it was fine. I tried it on a newly primed miniature and it seems to be absolutely fine. So we're all good. So Bella, there's a little bit of sneak peek of what we're hoping to do. Hey Rev. On the dress. Oh, what? Oh, thanks. Yeah. The what's she called again? Nuri Honor or something. So this was what was this? This was the orange. Yeah, the orange, and then I used a tiny bit of red. I think I used a mediumed, slightly medium, so watered down if you like, red, while it was still wet, and just just put it on the edges of the dress. So obviously that video's up on the channel, so you can go and check that out if you haven't done so already. So I'm looking forward to today because the guy we started on the last stream, I think it was last night actually, starting to look pretty good. Good old Bronte, what a mage! He's going to be awesome. And I've got his dancing axes to paint tonight as well. And I thought, as I'm going to be doing a fair amount of metal, I thought we'll do the first player token as well. So let's get rid of that. So let's start with, I think I'm just going to literally go straight into this first player token, because I'm going to go in straight with the red. Now, if we look at the art of the dancing blades, as it's called, we've got red on the handles of those dancing blades. So I'm going to hit in with a lot of red next. Then we're going to do the kind of orange work of his hammer and his shoulder pad for Bronte after that. So, straight in with Blood Angels red. Nice vibrant red. And this is going to go all over the top of the... I've only just noticed that Ludus Magnus Games symbol on the top. And I'm literally just going to plaster this all over. It's going to be gold metal that I'm going to be using on the actual crown itself. So I'm not really too fussed about going over the metalwork. I want it to look velvety, so probably going to use a fair amount of this red. Put on liberally. And you can see I'm really not fussed about being careful here. The Retributor. Am I going to use that? No, I don't think I'm going to go the Retributor. I don't want it as bright gold. I want it kind of like a dull gold for this particular one. So I'm going to be using Lead Belcher, but Lead Belcher will go straight through that. So you see, I'm not being careful at all here. Really don't need to be. I'd rather have a good coverage. And the red should really stand out to the gold. Should I go really bright gold? I don't know. Hang on, I'll have to think about that one. Just making sure we got... What? I love this red. It's such a beautiful, deep, vibrant red. Beautiful. Right. That's the crown done. I'm finished. I'm joking. So that's going to hopefully dry with some really dark tones onto it, which will give it hopefully that velvety look that a crown would have. Job one done. Right, now we'll move on to the handles of the swords with the same red. Using my size 0 brush as per normal, Winsor & Newton Series 7. And we'll drag these around. And we're going to do the handle. Now again, we are going either side of the handle with metalwork, so it doesn't matter too much if you go over it. And I'm hoping that the paint sticks, as these were newly primed today. It looks like it's looking good. It's the first dry day I've had to be able to get things primed. But I ran out of Rathbone spray, so we were going into town today anyway. So I went into the Warhammer shop and managed to get a new Rathbone spray primer to do all the rest of the minis. There we go. Nope, it's not a base. This is contrast paints, by the way, in case you weren't aware. So this is one coat wonders. So that red's going on, and then that's it in those parts. Nothing. I'm not going to put washes over it. I'm not going to highlight over it. Nothing needs to be done. It's just red base, boom, done. And that's really what these videos are trying to show us, and that's why I do that. That's why I do them live, really, just to show in real time how quick you can get a decent result with. And as I've mentioned many times before, we're not talking about competition winning miniatures here. We're talking about looking good on the tabletop, but not spending ages and ages painting them. Now, of course, you can go over with layering, with different washes, different shadings. Of course, yeah, you can do that over contrast paints, as a lot of people do. I have as well, on some miniatures, especially if you want to spend some time on them. But I just wanted to show, you know, how good contrast paints really are, and what I feel are what they're meant to be used for. Which, as I said, is a one coat wonder. I just need more paint on that red a minute. This is one of the only pots that stays open. It's brilliant. So what about yourself, Rev? Are you a Black Rose Wars player? And have you been painting your Black Rose Wars figures? Okay, that's the handles done. There's a spot there. Is that all the red? That's the red. Finished with. Okay, orange. So we're going on to Bronte now. So just to show you what I'm talking about, we're looking at the inside of the hammer here and his shoulder, which are all this kind of like glowing orange yellow, isn't it, really? Okay, orange yellow. I might do that. Okay, I think I've got an idea for that. I'm going to actually get in with Iyanden yellow first. So using Iyanden yellow first of all, and then we're going to go in with some orange while it's wet to just mix up the colours. So, for example, we just literally chuck in Again, it's going to be metal work over the top of it, so I'm not too fussed. So I'm going to just chuck in the yellow like so. Then wash brush. I'm always in a habit of closing my pot lids before before I move on to the next one, because how many times have people knocked over paint pots? I have a few times. And, you know, these are relatively expensive, and they might make a mess, which wouldn't be good. Let's get a bit more of this. And I'm just going to dab. That should do it. And I think that will, once it is dry, you know what, I'm going to go against what I've literally just said. I'm going to keep that pot open. I'm going to trust I'm going to be okay. Famous last words. Let's go to the other side. Did I? I might have had a bit of water on that. Okay. Back into the orange. That's it. Cool. And then same with the shoulder pad. Yeah, I think that'll come out all right. I mean, this is all the detail that is extruding from there is all going to be in black anyway. Ah, cool. I'll tell you what, Rev, I watch loads of miniature painting videos. I find it really therapeutic. Well, you know, when I'm painting, I tend to do it. And I find it really therapeutic. And you pick up loads of tips as well. Darkest Dungeon, yeah, looks good. Especially, I think, especially if you've played the video game, it's it holds pretty true to the video game. So I think, yeah, with all those with all those miniatures that are coming out, that's going to be looking awesome. Now, the only thing is, obviously, Darkest Dungeon is slightly darker in tone, but, you know, there's so many different paints you can get for the Citadel Contrast range that, you know, that's definitely an option as well. Okay, so there's the hopefully fire effect look that will come out eventually, or lava effect, really, isn't it? Hey, Board Game Dungeon. How are we going? Oh, I know. Oh, I saw it released today. ISS Vanguard. It looks like an awesome game system. Having that massive folder where it's your like ship and all your progress and your upgrades and stuff like that. It looks awesome. I would definitely get painting. I mean, the amount of times I've said this. Just a bunch full of grey miniatures. Any painting, you know, if you get to any kind of quality, a little bit like this, it just pops on the board and it'll look so good. So 100%, yeah, just get painting. Now, obviously, it's a bit of an investment. If you haven't got any paints to start with, it is obviously a bit of an investment. But, you know, I'm a big believer in these contrast paints. And yes, the startup's going to cost a bit. There's no denying that, I don't think. But my word, it's I genuinely think it's worth it, and the paints last a long time. Okay, I'm just doing the trim here of using this Iyanden yellow again. Well, I got it out. I do like this Bronte miniature. It's nice and big. The detail. I mean, look at these. Just the kind of Celtic, dwarven, runic detail on this not dress, whatever you want to call it, cloak. Absolutely superb. And it's just so easy to paint because it's just so well defined. Yeah, but it's just another. Oh god, it's another Kickstarter, and it's the money, but number two, space. I just haven't got any space for anything. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it will come to retail eventually. You won't obviously get anywhere near the stuff you're going to get on the I was going to say Kickstarter. It's not, is it? GameFound, on the GameFound version. I'll tell you what, that'll be really interesting as well, is how well does GameFound do as a crowdsource? It seems like it's doing really well so far. Because that is owned by Awaken Realms, I believe, isn't it? I believe so, anyway. There we go, there's the... Oh, that looks awesome. Matching the front trim. By the way, for the green of these swords, I'm going to go in Lead Belcher for all of this. Yeah, I'm going to go Lead Belcher for all of this, and I'm going to go Iyanden Yellow for the gold. I'm going to go Warp Lightning Green for the blades themselves. Yes, they are. Awaken Realms games are very expensive in retail. That is very true. I just don't know if I'll have the space, so yeah. Not sure. I'm very, very tempted, and especially with the expansion that swaps all the standees for miniatures. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm looking at the handle of this massive axe, and it looks like we've got the same colour. I would say the Griff Charger Grey. So let's go in with that again. So. Griff Charger Grey is next. Yeah, I thought it was owned by Awaken Realms. So, you know, that'll only help the board game company, which is fantastic news for us. And it's a darker colour. So again, I'm not too fussed about going over the lines on this one, because it's a very dark colour that the strapping is on the card art. That looks nice. I love this mage, by the way. That's why he had to be one of the first to be painted. Pretty good way of just leaving the rest. Just need to get in there if I can. Cool. Yep, I have certainly started to get rid of games that, like you say, if you haven't played them for, I usually say if I haven't played them for a year, I get rid of them. But I play so many of my games solo that they're always getting playtime, so it's very hard. And the other thing, of course, is I'm big into miniature games, and I paint a lot of them, and getting rid of a full set of board game miniatures that you've painted up, spent so much time on, and having to get rid of them, it's a bit heart-wrenching. It's hard to do. Right, Wildwood is next. Let's get the handle of the axe behind, as well as I think I'm going to do his scabbard of his sword and his hammer as well. So all of that's going to be with Wildwood. It's become I mean, my main hobby is board games and painting. And, you know, the family's expanded now, so we're looking to move house. And one of the main things that we're looking for, well, I'm looking for, I should probably point out, is a space where I can paint, play games, and everything else. Because currently I'm just doing it on the kitchen table. Which is all it works fine. But as you can imagine, we have dinner, breakfast and lunch on the kitchen table. So it's a matter of moving all the paint stuff all the time. I'm doing that constantly, which is which is not not ideal. I mean, you make do, don't you? So it's absolutely fine. I'm not complaining too much. I mean, I've got a very understanding wife, which is brilliant. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without her. But yeah, not ideal. But what's really good is my son loves playing with the miniatures, and he's only 4. Well, he's about to turn 4 on Sunday, actually. But I got him playing with the miniatures when he was about 1.5, and really instilled the kind of rules of what to use. It's surprising how well he picked it up. So what happens is he'll play with the miniatures and I'll paint. So I get a decent amount of painting done while he's playing with them, which is quite cool. And obviously when he gets older, he'll be able to play the actual games. That'll be the plan anyway. So I really can't complain. Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, and that handle as well. So, just getting the... I do love this Wildwood colour. It really comes out well on any wood, but to be honest, on lots of anything brown that you want to paint, it comes out really well. Oops. And if Rev's still there, speaking to you about if you're thinking about starting painting, one thing I would recommend, and you know, this is just my opinion. I mean, different people have different opinions on this, but I would invest in a decent paintbrush. It makes a world of difference. You don't want your paintbrush getting split ends and all the rest of it. You want it to be lasting a long time. Yeah, you got to look after the brush, of course, but you know, all I do is just wash it with water, and it seems to last a very long time. So as a little bit of advice for any new painters, my advice, and it is my advice, you know, different people tell you different advices, is to invest in a decent brush first. Right, his boots. I would say they're brown as well. And we've got his trousers as well. What are we going to paint his trousers with? I think we'll go... I think, to be honest, I'm just going to go straight Basilican and grey for his trousers. And I think I'm probably going to go Cygor brown for his shoes. That's fine. We've got this thing here. And I've already said about the fact that I think he's wearing kind of gloves as well. So imagine these as full gloves. So I think I might actually go in with snakebite leather for all of that glove work. Yeah. This anvil hammer is going to be metal with the fire coming off it. We've got a lot of metal work still to do. That pouch thing, I might do Black Templar. Just get a slightly different colour. Okay. Noted. I don't think it have that big an impact. Well, for me, I'm just going by my experience in terms of brushes. I used to just get low, you know, a cheapish brush, and you know, I would even call. Hope this doesn't offend people, but I'd even call the Citadel brushes pretty cheap, even though they're not cheap in price. But then when I got Fine Sable, which is what this is like the Winsor & Newton Series 7s are finest sable brushes. and they're just so nice. They keep their point. They don't split. You don't get that kink in the end of a brush, which you can do with many of the different brushes. So yeah, I don't know. You know, you don't have to go crazy. I mean, I think this was £10, £11 off eBay. So, you know, it depends on if you think that's expensive or not. But if it's going to last you a long time, then I think it's generally worth the money. We've also got, if you notice the bend in this hammer, there's nothing you can do about that. I just bought it on eBay. I can't remember the company. But it was quite a reputable eBay seller. It came in its little tube, you know, in this little brush tube. So when it was posted, it's not going to get damaged in any way. And I was, really chuffed. Really chuffed. So much so that I need to get a smaller brush by the same company. I want to get like a size 00, I think, or maybe 000. I can't remember the name though. Sorry, ball game tangent. Let's go with Basilican and Grey next. And the reason why I want to do this next, so that's not Basilican and Grey for starters. Basilicanum Grey, let's try that again. And we're going to go with the Trousers of Bronte. And we're going to go, I might even do the base while I'm doing the colours. Nah, I leave base till the end. And I can do all the bases at the same time. I need more than that. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I've got to try and get up. This is hard with a base. I've got to try and get up there, and it's just a matter of just chucking it on. Basilican and Grey is your kind of standard grey colour in the contrast range. Use it a lot. Because I also use it for any metal work if I want it silver. So I'm doing the classic lead belcher and then Basilican and Grey over the top, which you'll see happening soonish. But it's hard to get in. That's the only problem with pre-assembled miniatures is sometimes it's really hard to get to places. To be fair, these miniatures, these Black Rose Wars miniatures, haven't been too bad, touch wood, yet. Okay, so the trousers done. Actually, I can show you the... so this is the metalwork with lead belcher and then Basilican and Grey over the top. So it gives a nice dull silver look. That's all I need to use that for at the time being, I think. Whoa, hang on. Size 0. This is size 0. I use this literally for pretty much everything. And then for any real close detail, I use well, this Klinsky Mastercast. I don't know what size this is, but it has got thinner throughout the throughout the years. Well, I say years. I've had it for 2 years. So there's a few bristles left on this, but it gives a really easy, really nice. What do you call it? A really nice detail finish. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'll go through my eBay purchases and find out what the company's called. I presume you meant where do I buy the brush from? Yeah. Now, obviously, some of the main size brushes can be hard to get hold of for stock reasons, but and then that can change the price of them. But hopefully, yeah, it should be about the same size. Right. Okay. I think I'm going to go straight onto the metalwork. I want to show this metalwork of certainly the blades more than anything else. So, lead belcher is what we're going to be using. And I'm really running thin on the on this. I have got a new pot, so it's all fine. But I want to obviously use this up. This is so old, this lead belcher. They last forever, these paints. And as always, just make sure you use water, a little bit of water with this paint to make it flow a little bit easier. Not much water at all, but enough. So this is going on all of it. Could actually use a bigger brush. You know what? I'm going to use this brush to do detail work. Well, I say detail work, the bits near the red parts that I've painted already, and then I'm going to get the bigger brush. So I do have another brush, which is the larger, and that one is a super cheap brush. That was like a 50p brush or pound brush or something like that it cost. Cool. And then the other one. And as I've said on all the other videos, metalwork, when you're doing what I'm painting like, is always the most time-consuming part. But the results I really do like, so I think it's worth the extra effort. Because you know, the traditional way of doing certainly silver metal is using Nuln Oil to dull it down and give it some contrast. But I just find the contrast paints work so much better. Give you such a nice look. And yes, I'm going to be painting these gold, but I love lead belcher, and then what's the chat? There's still change. I love lead belcher with Iandan yellow to give the gold look. I really like that look. So the disadvantage with contrast paints, you could argue, is the fact that because it's a one coat only, ideally, you try and be careful around places you don't want to have to repaint.